be something more than a goddamn savage! Screwing out his hung on doctor's head. Annunziare mentatio. Lego some homodomatus.
Insanity. He watches the game fantasy. Radar one won't get in sight. He searches under up the shadows is rising.
You like this? Oh. You like being food for the immortal?
What is happening, YouTube? It is Wednesday, the 12th of January, 2022, 6:51 p.m. West Coast Pacific Standard Time out here in Seattle, and it is time, my friends. He is the one to get savage. What the fuck is going on, my good people? My good people here, my good people there. Fuck that van. And we will get on to it. It's been a fucking long and righteous week. Less than righteous, considering circumstances. Been working under a house, been having a good old day in the field of construction. Wreaks itself on your body, makes it fun, right? We'll make that fun. We got I don't know, kind of a clip show today. A little bit of a clip show today. And we'll just go ahead and launch right into it. We lost a giant, as it were. We lost a giant in the field of comedy. I'm pretty sure he'd think this is funny. From Deadline.com, Bob Saget dies. Comedian and Full House star was Star Wars. I see what you're doing there. 65. This is by Brandon Chloe, Denise Petsky. Here is a plump old Mr. Saget. I'm sorry, Bob Saget. You have to be next to the shitty fucking ad banner for Encanto. You deserve better than that. Eulogizing along with us is Random Brad Creator, the Thunder from Down Under. Down Under. And the one, the only, hide your wife and hide your daughters, Tommy, and the Guinea Pig Collective. I'd like to bid you, my fellow savages, lift high whatever it is you are imbibing, and join me in the savage salute, sending Mr. Bob Saget off to the hereafter with a here's to us, what's like us. Not a goddamn thing. Tommy stating it's fucking bullshit. YouTube, why is my boy Immortal Coil not showing up in my feeds? Well, I'll tell you why. I think that there is a active dose of soft suppression going on for the Savage channel. It's one of those things, you know where I am every Wednesday, 6:45, 9:45, depending on which coast you're straddling in the Americas. But it is what it is. We do our show with gusto, with balls. Whether one person is watching us, whether 1 million people are watching us. And mark my words, one day that indeed will happen. Bob Saget, we got a heartfelt tribute, something of a clip show today. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but just enough to give you a gist of what's going on from Deadline.com. Brandon Chloe, Denise Petsky, January 9th, 2022, 5:01 p.m. Comedian and actor Bob Saget, who notably starred as the patriarch. Did they just mention the patriarchy? Good job, Deadline. On ABC's Full House, has died. Died at 65. The Orange County Sheriff's Office responded to a call Sunday regarding, quote, an unresponsive man in a room at the Ritz-Carlton Orlando and identified the man as Bob motherfucking Saget. On-site detectives noted there were no signs of foul play, nor Deadline.com, nor drug use was present. Saget's cause of death has not yet been released, and I am sure that's going to be up to the coroner. Got a tweet here from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, who has a blue check mark. None of my friends have blue check marks. Stating earlier today, deputies were called to the Ritz-Carlton Orlando, Grand Lakes for a call, Grande Lakes, for a call about an unresponsive man in a hotel room. The man was identified as Robert Saget and pronounced deceased on the scene. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use in this case. There's the Orange County Sheriff's Office breaking news banner. Does the Orange County Sheriff's Office have a news desk? Apparently they do. There's 1.1K replies. There is 17.7K likes. We are devastated to confirm that our beloved Bob passed away today, the Saget family wrote in a statement. He was everything to us, and we want you to know how much he loved his fans, performing live and bringing people from all walks of life together with laughter. Yes, he did. Though we ask for privacy at this time, we invite you to join us in remembering the love and laughter that Bob brought to the world. The family continues. Now, I don't want to read the entire sappy motherfucking thing, but suffice it to say, Bob Saget was a loved comedian. Most of us know him from Full House, the 80s show where he was alternatively everybody's dad, but then he turned out to be everybody's dirty-mouthed uncle, you know, or like your dad when you've grown up and gotten a job and come back and are able to say fuck in front of the old man. We got Random Brad once again signing off or shouting shouting from the rooftops, hey, hey. We got Brightest Day. What is up, sir? We had some good news from, I hope it's good news, from the Battlestar Galactica corner. Join Brightest Day for coverage of that. He is the Rogue's go-to guy for Battlestar. And we are going to continue to share a couple of videos here about Bob Saget. It's funny. I guess I didn't realize that I cared as much as I did about this guy. But I spent a lot of time watching Full House, and it's funny when I realized how filthy a comedian he was. It brought on a new level of enjoyment for the guy because he played the straight-laced sweetheart of a guy, and he was surrounded by like a rock and roll guy, Uncle Jesse, who banged Mystique famously, and Dave Coulier, who was also kind of shooting for Family Friendly, although I do suspect he also had some foul-mouthedness, famously inspiring You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. Bob Saget also hosts America's Funniest Home Videos, and it's funny because late 80s, early 90s was probably the last time that network TV was able to act the way that it did, where there were only 4 or 5 network TV options. Things were going into syndication. You had cable, all that stuff, but the internet, satellite TV, all that stuff was still on the horizon. So it was interesting when I started to see things like this pop up. This is a clip from Half Baked. Is my audio on? My audio's never on. What the fuck, people? My audio is never on. Hope it was on earlier. Rehab. They asked me to go to rehab and they said no. All right, let's try this again with proper sound.
Man, that first day of sobriety sucked. And I realized something. I was a real irritable guy when I wasn't smoking marijuana. I couldn't stop thinking about getting high. And that's when I decided it was time to get help. Hi, everyone. My name is Thurgood. Hi. I'm here today because I'm addicted to marijuana.
What?
You in here for some marijuana? Marijuana? Man, this is some bullshit.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke.
Right there. Right there. I remember seeing this movie, 1999. Actually, I saw this and then I saw The Matrix like 2 weeks later. Bob fucking Saget, Danny fucking Tanner saying sucking dick for cocaine. Now, this might seem tame these days, you know, and I'm talking 20-something years after the fact, but goddamn, back then, number one, this is the first time you're seeing Dave Chappelle. Number two, Bob Saget. Bob Savage is more like it. Bob Savage. Okay, we got another clip here. I am a huge fan of Bill Burr. Bill Burr is an A1 fucking rated savage in my book. We got a good 9 minutes here of Bill Burr eulogizing Bob Saget. Check this out. I said check it out. My goddamn sound doesn't ever want to work. All right, check it out.
A couple hours makes. As all of you already know, I literally just found out about the untimely and shocking passing of Bob Saget, and I don't even know what to say. I'm just absolutely in shock. I mean, I don't know what else to say than what everybody else said. Just like absolutely the nicest guy, and just so goddamn funny, and absolutely loved making people laugh and loved jokes. And whenever I would text with him, he would go on until you stopped. Like, I don't care if it was like 3 a.m. If you were joking back and forth, that guy just loved to improv and just make people laugh. And one of the most amazing things that I found about that guy was he was literally friends with comedians that were only a couple years into the business, all the way to legends working in Vegas, some of whom who weren't selling as many tickets and kind of were working off the strip. He would fly out there, he'd go to their shows, encourage them, tell them they're funny, and have dinner with them. And I don't know, I met him, I believe the first time I met him was probably on the Opie and Anthony show. I can't remember if it was the Virus tour or if he was in studio first, but I was just struck with how down to earth he was. It was fucking Bob Saget, right? Who, you know, and yeah, I mean, he was just wire to wire. I knew him a little more than 15 years, and just wire to wire was just an absolute sweetheart. I'd never had one argument with him. He was just the nicest guy, and I really very thankful that I had a very complete friendship with him. You know, we told each other that we loved each other. shared, stories about growing up and how the hell we both ended up being comedians. And yeah, man. I mean, if that guy wasn't making people laugh, he was out organizing a benefit to help other people out. And that is why you see the kinds of tributes that he's getting. It's just fucking brutal. Fucking brutal. I'm absolutely in shock. So, with that, wow. Well, Jesus Christ. Someday I will tell you guys. I'll tell you more stories that he would get a fucking kick out of. But it's always tragedy plus time. So, all right. Let's leave it at that. Okay. All right. All right. Back to the podcast. Rest in peace, Bob.
Rest in peace, Bob. Indeed. Bill Burr goes on to be savage. I also, I don't want to sit around and, bemoan a man's passing because, especially if he's a comedian, he doesn't want everybody sitting around fucking sucking their thumb going oh, I wish he was around. They probably just want to make people laugh, review his career, all that stuff. Bob Saget, surrealistically, if that's a word, also played sort of like this Wonder Years character, Ted Mosby. He was the adult Ted Mosby on How I Met Your Mother. And I just so happened to have found a clip of How I Met Your Mother. I'm not sure if Bob Saget's in it, but funnily enough, is that a word? Funnily? Funny enough, this is the genesis, in my humble opinion, of the modern Cobra Kai reboot. I did a video about this once upon a time. I'm sure it has exactly 12 views, like all my other videos do. But this is How I Met Your Mother. This is William Zabka. This is Ralph Macchio. Check this out.
A balloon contortionist.
Balloons, not the inflatable, round, squishy pouches I was hoping to see tonight.
Ow! I hate Ralph Macchio. I hate him, hate him, hate him. He is not the Karate Kid.
The Karate Kid was William Zabka, star pupil of the Cobra Kai dojo, whom this monster defeated with a cheap, illegal head kick in the most tragically haunting film ending of all time. Why don't you go to a party with Luke Skywalker and Harry Potter and Warhorse and all the other movie bad guys and stop ruining mine?
Listen.
Barney?
Quinn?
Yeah.
And you got a little something.
Oh.
Oh, guys, wait, hold on. Drinking, a shot, shooting, a gun, shotgun. Shotgun? He ain't the Karate Kid.
I couldn't agree with you more. You know, they almost didn't get me. But after 18 voicemails, I returned Robin's call. And she told me how you're one of the few people in the world who truly gets the Karate Kid movie. So when she asked if I'd help, well, my answer just had to be. Thanks! William Zabka!
Ah,
Hey, Ted. Thanks for the sweet lid, bro.
this is a dorky fucking show, but
That's your new best man? He's the best around.
And that's how I became Barney's best man again. Everything was back to going off without a hitch.
I'm coming for you, Mosby.
Okay, there was one slight hitch.
But Stuart said he got it for us.
Stuart and Claudia checked in. I saw them in the lobby. Let's go get to the bottom of this.
I will solve this case. Now, there were 3 people nearby when Barney gave me that headshot. Karate Kid bad boy Billy Zabka. A lot of pretty paintings in this hotel. I like how they've been framed.
I've noticed the vintage antique gilded Victorian frames too. I'm not blind. But what are you getting at? You're insane.
Am I?
Yeah, am I? Yeah.
Where were you today?
at 3:15 p.m. Right here, getting a massage. Rocked a 60-minute deep tish. Now, you'll excuse me, detective. I think I'll go have some pineapple.
How do you know about that?
Everybody knows about that.
I'm telling all y'all, it's Zapkatosh.
I was going to give this to Barney and say I'd driven an hour away to get a replacement from an autograph dealer. First, I needed an alibi. So I got Barney's dad a massage, but signed it in my name. In the 80s, I was a bad guy in every movie. Do you know what my life has been like? Every premiere, when I came on screen, I wasn't a bad guy in real life, just a kick-ass actor. No one got that. It happened everywhere I went. Somehow, people always had popcorn.
Will you be my best man?
Sure, thanks.
Hello?
Mom? No, listen. I just became somebody's best man.
You could come to Thanksgiving this year.
To Barney Stinson, I was the best man. I thought if Ted screwed up again, I'd have another shot. But I guess this time I really was the bad guy.
Billy saved the day by getting a new one from an autograph dealer nearby.
An hour away.
An hour away, just be cool.
Wait, what time was this?
A little after 3 a.m., Billy Zabka. Why?
Well, last night I was out doing some late-night dirt biking in the sand.
Naturally. Continue.
And I ended up at the Easy Pick a few miles up the road. Well, that's odd.
That the captain moored his dinghy in Lily's Lagoon? Most definitely.
That's crazy. You'd never moor a dinghy in a lagoon.
I don't know, Tad. In certain title conditions, if you had a protected inlet.
Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. What is the one thing Lily always does?
Cry.
Masturbate? Karate?
Go sailing.
You have no car. What do? Go.
Dirt biking.
I can walk that far.
Masturbate.
Take a boat.
A pregnancy test.
You could smoke those? You said Gary Blauman? I hate to disagree with Barney, but I love that guy.
You're the poet, William Zabka.
Nobody ever recognizes me for my poetry. He has all 6 of my collections. When Terry Gross interviewed me on Fresh Air, he listened live. Gary Blauman rules.
Billy won't kick you in the face. It's not even my move. If I was going to do anything, I'd sweep the leg and put you in a body bag. Everyone knows that. Wait, is that from one of your poems? Thank you for that.
William Zabka became the youngest poet ever to win the American Humanities Medal for Literature. He's currently working on a collection of travel essays.
Right now, you're probably filled with all the doubts in the world. All you need to blast your way in and get back what they took from you.
All right, that's pretty fucking silly. William Zabka, kind of bridging that Cobra Kai thing as we're winding down our tribute to Bob Saget, who curiously was not in that clip, but that's okay. I think everybody loves William Zabka. Joining us as well, we got Snowdub, fellow fatty. Thanks for swinging on by, sir. Snowdub was having a live stream a couple days ago when Saget kicked it. And he's sitting there trying to have an entertaining broadcast, and people like me kept on going, damn, Bob Saget's dead. So Snowdub breaking that particular story, as it were. All right, this is not sci-fi, but this is something that I've been kind of following, and I thought that it was good to talk about. This thing right here, Dexter New Blood. I was a decent fan of the original Dexter series back on Showtime back in the 2000 aughts, as it were. Funny story, I actually used to work for Comcast. For good or for evil, Comcast provides internet and cable TV access for millions. Where Dexter was one of the flagship shows where we say, hey, you know, this is a good reason to get HBO and Showtime. Dexter had a dubious ending. And for years, we're just kind of like, so he was on a boat in the ocean and that's it. And then we find that Dexter has a reboot. And I thought it was going all right until I got to the last episode last night. So I have to warn you, spoilers will follow. If you don't give a shit about Dexter, then you're not going to give a shit anyway. If you do give a shit about Dexter, please pause this and fuck off for a little bit and go watch Dexter. We will wait. Hi, welcome back. Dexter, 10 episodes. It's kind of like a 10-part mini series. It reminds me of like when It or something was on TV back in the 80s, where it's like a special mini series. Stephen King's It. Except this is Dexter New Blood. In the show, in canon, Dexter fakes his own death on the high seas. He turns up in some upstate New York frozen ass place on a just outside of a Native American reservation. He is dating a Native American police chief. There are exactly 3 black people in this town, and strangely diverse cast. However, they don't really call attention to it. It's just kind of something that you notice. Dexter is kind of under the guise of being a witness protection guy. He has a different name, but then slowly people start to figure out who he is, especially when his son shows up. Baby Harrison, and that's him on the far left. He's also haunted by his sister, Deb, his real life ex-wife. And I wonder if that's why it took 10 years to do something with a show. And, Harrison shows up and at first it's like, why'd you leave me, Daddy? I hate you. But then like Dexter's sitting there in his head going like, should I tell this guy? And every time I tell somebody, like, it's bad for them. And it turns out that Harrison is a fucking psycho too. And Dexter and Harrison kill somebody together. The father-son bonding moment that everybody kind of wanted to sickly see. And then Dexter dies. He gets caught. And he gets caught with no way out. He breaks his cardinal rule, don't get caught. He ends up breaking his second rule, don't kill any innocents. And then he himself is shot in the heart. And Harrison's to blame. He gave love a bad name. Which is funny. I thought Dexter was going to get stabbed. I thought he was going to die the way he kills people. But yeah, and then I feel kind of fucky about that. I do not like how this show ended. I really think that they could have eked out another couple seasons and done it justice. But I think the thing that pisses me off the most is so we have Amazon Prime, we have the Access fucking media, and we paid extra for Showtime and HBO Max or whatever the fuck it's on, just so that we could see this. And it said season 1, but it didn't say like it was a mini series. It said season 1. So we're thinking like, all right, we got a new Dexter thing to watch. And then like this thing happens, he gets shot, and we're sitting there going like, okay, he got shot in the heart and he's out in the middle of nowhere, and there's no emergency responders. Oh shit, this guy is going down. He is going down. So he's dead for reals this time. For reals this time. He is not walking away from that. Much to my chagrin. Okay. We have quite a bit here going on in Star Wars news. Star Wars. Here is the iconic 70s logo we'll never see again, except on jammies. I don't even think they're making lunchboxes like this anymore. I don't even know if they're using the Star Wars logo as the brand anymore. Aren't they using like Mandalorian or something? I don't even think Star Wars has its own dedicated aisle in the toy store anymore. I don't even think there are toy stores anymore. Are there? The Target's and Walmart's have a sign that says Star Wars, but you go down there and there's no sort of organizational Everything's Baby Yoda. There's probably some Din Djarin shit, but it's not like it used to be. The only place that I could really think of that I could see Star Wars shit anymore is like comic book stores, but they are closing down too. I've seen them at Comic Cons and eBay stores, and then like in the backgrounds of you know, in the backgrounds, like back here, right? Star Wars shit. It's the only place I've seen Star Wars shit. I found this thing about, and I shouldn't have shut that down. I should have just done something else. I found this thing with once again Bill Burr. He is one of my favorite comedians, where he is talking about preparing for the Mayfeld role, and everybody says Mayfield. He says it's Mayfeld, and I understand that. Check this out. This is Bill Burr.
Field prep. Hey, Billy, Imperial Blaster Master. The guy's name is Mayfeld. Miggs Mayfeld, not Mayfield. Although I thought it was Mayfield for a while, too. What's up, Bill? Longtime listener and fan, and happy to see you crushing it with the acting. Thank you. Speaking of acting, for the scene with you, with Officer, you blasted for his decision that cost the lives of your character's brother in arms. Did you do any research or talk to any vets? I asked because you fucking crushed it. Yes! Thank you. I wrote this email. Your delivery was fucking flawless. See, now these are the kind of compliments a married man needs to hear. There's a fucking great program. You know, perfect strangers come up and compliment a married man so he remembers what that sounds like. Anyway, he goes, I got chills watching the look you had and tone, and I could connect with that character. You nailed the sense of humor with no bullshit attitude, and we need to have to survive, not just in war, but back in the world. I'd love to see a spinoff centered around you and that character. Anyways, I really would like to know how you'd prep specifically for that scene if you could share. Thanks, and go fuck yourself, a retired Army vet. 2 Iraq and 1 Afghanistan. I guess he was 3 tours over there. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
How did I prepare for that? It was kind of all there on the page. I just read the scene and I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be the shit. I knew it was going to be a great scene. And I knew that I was in there with great actors. And Rick Famuyiwa was directing it. So I was like, all right. How did I connect with pain. That's all I can tell you. So even though I didn't experience that specific pain, I am able to tap into other shit that happened to me. Or the combination of that or just having empathy or something like that. You know what? I honestly don't know. I'm kind of afraid to pull it apart. But yeah, no, you know what it is you just bring it to a place where you can relate to it. So as much as that guy is playing, a commanding officer and anything, a commanding officer takes on many different forms. It's just a person that has power over you that was abusive. So you're able to sort of channel that into those words, I would say. Maybe that's what it was. And then also, the way it was written, the whole thing was just kind of there. But that's a really interesting question that I didn't, I know I just read the scene. I immediately understood it. And then I remember we were sort of blocking the scene. And I remember standing, looking over where I was going to be sitting. And I was already emotionally to the point I was like, all right, stop thinking about it. Are you going to fucking do the scene before the scene happens? So, yeah, I would say it was something like that. I believe, yeah, something like that. And then also, and then after that, you're like, okay, now I can relate to this thing. Then you just make choices that aren't going to be obvious. You know, like I told you a few weeks ago when I was at that Green Bay Packer game and that kid was being an asshole. So one of my buddies from back Massachusetts just sat down next to him, moved me away from him. And the drunk guy looked at my buddy and he goes, "Why are you here?" And he just looked at him. He had half a smile and he goes, "Why do you think I'm here?" You know? And I was just I just remember moments like that for acting, where like if you saw that on a page as an actor, you'd think you'd go, you know, "Oh, that's a badass line. I got delivered like a badass. Like, why do you think I'm here?" You know, which is, you know, that's a way you could do it, but that's obvious. And then it just sort of becomes cheesy. But the way he did it, where he kind of had a smile on his face, you know, and almost turned it into a fatherly son relationship with, I'm not going to give you the answer, son, but I'll help you get there. And then he had a half a smile on his face that said, you know, "I don't care whether I win or lose. I just enjoy fighting," was a whole other, another level of intimidation. And his friends took that guy and moved him 2 seats down. I just sort of clock those things, stick it in the memory bank. And then when you come up with a scene like that, you have options. So it won't be like, hopefully stale. But that's an unbelievable thrill that you got, that you actually lived what I was pretending I lived and you connected with it. So I really appreciate that. And I'm glad you made it back after 2-3 tours over there. Jesus. All right. Mayfield.
That's some crazy shit. Bill Burr, one of the more enjoyable characters on The Mandalorian, which is funny because The Mandalorian served as a hub through which they were going to spew out various other Star Wars spinoffs. Most famously, Gina Carano, who got wronged, who got fired, who got publicly embarrassed and shamed, canceling the plans for that, and then having, out of necessity, having Favreau go through and redo their entire approach for that kind of shit. And I think it shows. We're going to be talking some Boba Fett here in a little bit, but I did see this article. We got Tommy coming in saying he was at Target a couple days ago. They had a handful of Disney Star Wars crap, but no Star Wars. No. The only Star Wars now is Disney Star Wars, unless you go online and buy a lightsaber or something. Ren Brad says it's brew time. I will join you with that. Cheers, my buddy. And then Tommy says he connects the pain when he kicks mofos in that special place. Well, I think we all connect with pain. I think that's part of the Buddha says life is pain. Something like that. And that's part of why we're here, because this world is savage and stupid. And so we have to be proportionately savage, though we might not want to be. And then I see stuff like this, where it's Emilia Clarke, who is not naked this time, is back as Kira for a Disney Plus series. Emilia Clarke, who starred in the movie where Lando fucks machines now. And I saw this other article where it says Temuera Morrison says that Han Solo is going to be on the Book of Boba Fett. And I don't know if it's going to be Alden Ehrenreich or whatever the fuck his name is, or if they're going to use that guy that they hired off of YouTube to take Alden Ehrenreich's body and then Photoshop Harrison Ford's face onto that, which is silly. Like, I don't know that I appreciate that they're using the images and likenesses of these classic characters in bullshit ways. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more as we dig into the Boba Fett thing, but more and more it's looking like they're using these as vehicles to put together Disney continuity and present it in a way that's not completely projectile vomiting inducing to the old guard, which is you and me, my friends. This is from that hashtag show by Nick Santos, January 5th, 2022. It says, everybody, your friendly neighborhood Professor Hulk here. This guy probably is about 20, huh? I'm about to drop some knowledge of some exciting stuff in the film and TV world. Last week, we shared with you details on a Beverly Hills Cop remake. This week, we're talking about a Kira remake. We've exclusively learned that Amelia remake Clark will be remaking the role of Kira for a remade Disney remade plus remade series. Obviously, I'm editorializing there. Who is Kira? Some of you may not have seen Solo. If you have not, then I envy you. Hashtag Solo lost money. Kira was a friend of Han Solo's. A friend. Han Solo was not able to close that deal. With whom he bonded, but she had assumed leadership of the Crimson Dawn by the end of the film. The Crimson Dawn is one of the largest crime syndicates in the Star Wars universe. I bet we're about to see them in Boba Fett. They were started by Darth Maul and publicly led by Dryden Voss Vision. After Voss's death, Kira took over public operations. Darth Maul died sometime after at the hands of Kenobi, and she became the full-time leader of the syndicate. What storylines could they use for a Kira series? Story details are sparse at this time, but in the comics, Kira has resurfaced and has had storylines beyond what we saw in Solo. In one comic book plot, she had managed to steal Han, frozen in carbonite, and in possession of Boba Fett. She used Han to bait factions towards the Crimson Dawn, and a major fight ensued. What they're not saying is that the fight was with Darth Vader, which is bullshit. I have this ongoing clumsy and stupid thing where Darth Vader is being used for egregious purposes solely to introduce and lend legitimacy to Disney Star Wars continuity. And it pisses me off because Darth Vader should only be used in the most brutal of applications, or as it pertains to his temptation back towards the light and his redemption through the hands of his son, Luke Skywalker. In this particular comic book, they did a run called the fucking Bounty Hunter Wars, something bullshit like that. And she had these, it's the electrostaff technology, but they were, there was like a battery that came out of some swords that she was wielding around, which connected at the hilts to be something reminiscent of the double-bladed lightsaber. Darth Vader recognized the lineage of her combat training as being Maul's and tacitly Sidious's. However, what this article is not saying is that Darth Vader whipped her fucking ass. He should have taken her clothes off and spanked her little ass. But Darth Vader doesn't care about such things. It was like enough, and he was about to destroy everything, but then he sensed Luke and had to leave. The article continues, this could be a continuation of the Kira storyline and a logical way to bring characters like Han Solo and Boba Fett. This is my surmising. I don't know how to conjugate that. This is as I surmised. Everything is going according to how I have foreseen. Are there any other actors confirmed to return? I am not liking that hashtag show.com. This is not my favorite website. At this time, no other actors from Solo: A Star Wars Story are set to return. However, more cast members could potentially return. This is fucking crap. I really think that this is probably a slideshow that I was able to avoid. There's that weird anime chick next to Bob Saget, all these other people. Betty White passed away too. She passed away last week. I wasn't feeling good, so I wasn't able to hail Betty White, but I'll crack open a new one for Betty White. Here's to Betty White. What's like Betty White? The head to Guinness, maybe? I don't know. We got Ashley Lynn Gaia Storm. Hailing all. She says, "How you doing, Immortal?" Pretty good. Pretty good. I hope you're doing well. I hope author Stephen Walton's doing well. Random Brad, of course, is it's no secret Darth Vader got his dick burnt off, which I think we also should mention that he got his asshole burned shut. And I think that's part of why Palpatine was so mad, because although he did eventually sire progeny, I think he might have had a little something for the Chosen One. Amelia Clark. And last but not least, we have this thing. This is, again, not an official thing, but I really like this idea that Darth Vader's scorning Boba Fett, because the Boba Fett that we're getting in this Disney series is incongruent with his character as we met him in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars Return of the Jedi and various other media. Boba Fett was the slimiest, the grimiest, the meanest. He was in the employ of gangsters and Sith Lords, doing shit that they could not be seen publicly doing. As I reminded you guys the last time that I was on, Darth Vader in the comics hired Boba Fett to capture and produce the rebel who destroyed the Death Star. At the time, this was in between, and this is also Legends. In these comics, it was between A New Hope and Empire. Boba Fett goes to Tatooine, finds Luke in Ben's hut. Now, Luke and R2 were kind of poking around, and they found the chest that Ben had left, like his journals and various other things in there. I think that's where I would like to say it's Qui-Gon's Kyber crystal, various Jedi teachings, things like that. And Boba Fett fought Luke Skywalker. He was like, "All right, kid, you're coming with me," kind of shit. And Luke's like, "Fuck you, I'm not coming with you." And he's like, "All right, you don't have to be conscious to come with me." And Luke, see, Boba Fett was supposed to be mean, like I'm saying, trained. We saw him at various points in the Clone Wars TV series. We saw him in Star Wars Rebels, I'm pretty sure, at doing badass shit. This is Jango Fett's direct clone, an unaltered take on the clones. And it's funny, I would say Jango Fett, if you want to argue this through the various clones and permutations, had the most interesting character arc in all of Star Wars, aside from the Chosen One himself. It was, after all, called the Clone Wars. Boba Fett, despite his skill set, was bested by Luke Skywalker, but not spectacularly so. Not like if Obi-Wan or Darth Vader was fighting Boba Fett, where they could just string him upside down and chop his head off, or dismember him, or choke him, or squeeze his heart from the outside. Something evil that a Sith Lord would do. No, it was dumb luck. Luke nearly got his ass beat, but luckily he had R2 there to help him. So in the comics, Darth Vader's like, "What do you have for me?" And he goes, "Nothing. Just a name. His name is Skywalker." Darth Vader did not say anything. He was staring out the space window, and Boba Fett goes, "Okay, then we're done." And he walks away. He escaped, and I think it's because Vader. Nobody knows that Vader is also Skywalker, but he heard the name. Suddenly, his world unravels, and using the Force, he starts to crack the spaceport window. This was Boba Fett. And the show, if you go back 2 weeks, me and Vinny Art were on here breaking down the first episode. I'm not going to give as thorough a breakdown as last time, but there are a couple of things that I would like to touch on. But the main salient the main salient point is that Disney is using this show, and I would argue the shows that follow, and even the third much ballyhooed season of The Mandalorian, which, because of how Disney has comported itself in the public sphere, I am not even that eager to see it. If you ask me, the peak of that fucking show was Luke Skywalker. They could cancel that show, and I would be happy. 2 seasons, Luke Skywalker, that was a high point. The highest point of Disney Star Wars to this day. It gave me better feelings than I saw, or that I felt when I encountered Darth Vader in Rogue One, which was the previous high point. And the only reason that I think Luke Skywalker eclipses that is because we did not see Luke Skywalker as a Master Jedi for like 40 years. 40 years. We saw him as an old man who didn't give a shit about his lightsaber, his father's lightsaber hilt anymore. Fuck you, Rian Johnson. So towards that end, I am not too happy about this. And there's a lot of debate going on in the Fandom Menace and adjacent channels, whatever you want to call yourselves. Close affiliates with the Rogue Entertainments. I consider myself a rogue. They consider themselves a rogue. My buddy Snowdub, the Cotton Connection, close friends with him, and his merry band of misfits. We talk about this, how Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are fans. They are fans, but they are also employees of Disney and beholden to Disney standards. And there are certain things that I think that they have been brought in to damage control. Damage control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and fuck off to the West. The West is the best. Right? But Disney does have an agenda. Okay? There was a scene in the first Book of Boba Fett, where he's walking around like a fucking jamoke with a ninja bitch. And he goes into this like cantina, but it's like a casino. And I really think that sort of thing was supposed to be featured on this Star Wars Galactic Cruise thing before they shit their pants and realized they had to redesign the whole thing. So we're seeing that Star Wars is being used as a vehicle to test out ideas from the new canon and see what sticks. There are certain things that I think will stick better than others. I will see if I can find a image real fast, because I do like this guy. This guy right here. This guy up in here. I can get the thing going. All right, we're going to switch over to this guy up on here. Black Chrysanthemum. Okay. As a character, this is one of the better characters. Black Chrysanthemum was invented for a Darth Vader comic. In the comics, and this is canon, and I'm also interested to see how this is going to go on the show. In the comics, Black Chrysanthemum and Boba Fett were both hired by Darth Vader to do some bounty hunter shit. Now I hate it because in the same issue, Dr. Aphra was there. And if Dr. Aphra is on Book of Boba Fett or gets her own show or something, you will not hear the end of it from me, because that is a complete shit character. A complete invention of the diversity market for diversity's sake and for nothing else. She's this like smart ass little plucky bitch that sasses Darth Vader, but for some reason they make excuses why he can't kill her. He did flush her out of an airlock once, though, so good job, Lord Vader. Daytona Falls, that's Black Chrysanthemum, and it's I'll have to spell it. It's weird because when I first saw it, I thought it was like a chrysanthemum, like a fucking flower. But then I was thinking like it's like a Wookiee Satan. If you look above this guy's left eye, he's sporting a Anakin-ish scar, and he actually got that from Obi-Wan Kenobi in continuity. Now, this is an example of a character who is probably one of the better characters that Disney created and is wheeling out in the show. And this also doesn't make sense to me, okay? I want Book of Boba Fett to be a lot more brutal and a lot more like R-rated than it actually is. If we could get like a Book of Boba Fett that's more like Logan, the movie, where it's bloody and rated R, I think that we could get a better representation. But what Disney is doing is that they are giving us a reformed Boba Fett, and they are using these flashback scenes in the back of the tank to explain how he got to where he is. Okay. Boba Fett, after he crawled out of the Sarlacc pit, did this like Dances with Wolves thing, or the Last Samurai thing, with a tribe of Tusken Raiders. And we find out that the Tusken Raiders exist in tribes all over Tatooine, and they're analogous to Native American culture. And we learn from the tribe that Boba Fett finds himself with. All right, I'm gonna go back to the Scorn picture, because Darth Vader does need to talk some sense into Boba Fett. We learn that some of the tribes of Sand People are more civilized than others, whereas we have that famous line from Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 2, they are like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them. Okay? Because apparently kidnap, torture, and rape are not above certain sects of Sand People, but they're trying to sell us this idea, and I get it. This is Disney. Okay? Disney can't be as explicit as George Lucas was in his independent films. They simply cannot, because they are in the job of making little dolls and, you know, things like that. The tribe of Sand People that Boba Fett is rehabbing with seems to exist in a is it a matriarchy? I don't know, but there is a the head mama of the tribe is a badass as well. They're doing this like 410 to Yuma thing where they're hijacking a train, a bullet train, which doesn't make fucking sense. A train in Star Wars. We saw that in Solo, a Star Wars story, and I think that was as much bullshit as this is as well. right? Nevertheless, these tribes teach Boba Fett, barfed up by the Sarlacc, how to fight like a Tusken Raider. And then he gets some like fucking frog peyote thing up his nose, you know, and he has this like vision of the Tatooine world tree, you know. And I find it hard to swallow. You know what I mean? I find it hard to swallow. So we don't get to see this linearly. We see this as Boba Fett is still kind of rehabbing himself, and he's still weak. He still needs people to join his posse and be his fucking bodyguard, his attaché. We learned that Rancors are cute now. Rancors have feelings. We know that the Rancor keepers have feelings because that big fat dude with the tits cried after Luke killed one. And I don't think Luke was like, fuck your Rancor. It's just like he had to do what he had to do. Jedi rarely want to kill. They just have to do it sometimes. But we're learning that Rancor have a complex emotional development, which if you did things like play Star Wars, The Force Unleashed, or watched Return of the Jedi, it's also incongruent because these things are huge Colosseum smashing beasts. Now, I guess I could see maybe it's like the Christians and the Lions where they're not feeding these animals. So when somebody comes down to fight them, there's your food. But again, it's Disney trying to cast some sort of morals onto things that were introduced by George Lucas in a Saturday matinee serial capacity, that we were just supposed to understand that these things are beasts. They're scary monsters that the hero is caught up in for a minute. And it's like if the Rancor has like PETA rights now, we're gonna find out soon that the fucking big sheep thing that Anakin was riding in Attack of the Clones has feelings too, or like that big fucking bug thing that Obi-Wan had to kill has feelings too. You know, and I'm not saying that in the philosophical sense. Of course, everything has life and deserves to live and all that shit, but taken in context, where once again, it's like a Saturday matinee monster thing. The Jedi is in a fucking stick. What are we going to do? You know? And who is the new Rancor keeper, but fucking Machete, right? Who also, much like the Rancor, and maybe this is the parallel here, was once the 90s like quintessential Mexican badass, right? You went south of the border, you're in the wrong bar kind of thing. Machete was probably going to be there. But he gets to deliver the line. You know, these are like, and he sounds like Cheech Marin. He's like, these things are wonderful, beautiful creatures, and they have feelings, and they imprint on people. And Boba Fett's like, can I ride one? And he's like, all right, stand over here. I'm going to teach you how to read this, Bobby. It's not Boba Fett. It's like Bobby Fett. Bobby? Whoa, Bobby. Right? Daytona Falls asking, is the trapdoor being used too much? You know, actually, I had that idea when they brought in the roof ninja at the end of the second episode, and they dropped him in the Rancor pit, and I was like, Disney is not going to let us have a Rancor again. We're not going to see anybody eating on camera. And then when Ming-Na Wen, Fennec Shand, or whatever the fuck her name is, said, we don't have a Rancor anymore, dummy. I was like, yeah, you know, that's what it is. But then the fucking Hutt twins show up with a sleeping Rancor, and it's like, okay, how are they going to make this thing cute and cuddly now? Right? It's funny. I didn't know what to think. And then the Power Rangers. Can we talk about the Power Rangers real fast on this Book of Boba Fett thing? In the show, there is a moisture farmer who's like, yeah, these meddling kids who they have robo parts, they're stealing my water. So if you want to be a good daimyo, fucking take care of these kids. And he shows up and these kids are standing around a barrel on this desert planet. They look fucking clean as fuck. They're kids. And I don't know. I have not been this annoyed by side characters since Clone Wars Season 7, when Ahsoka Tano goes into the underworld and meets the Martez sisters. These kids I find equally as useless, except when you understand that Disney Star Wars is trying to attract kids and teenagers. So they're going to put on teenagers that they think that kids and teenagers nowadays can relate to. And what do kids and teenagers want? They want bikes. They want speeder bikes with like 25 mirrors on them that Disney can sell for $20 a bike. And they're just like the Power Rangers. Yeah. It's morphin' time. Right? Now I dig the premise where these people are misfits and they don't have anywhere to go. So Boba Fett's like, hey, I'll hire you. You can work for me. Because obviously this guy's a piece of shit. He gives him like 500 credits. He's like, you'll take this and you'll like it. But these guys aren't doing a good job, are they? Because Black Chrysanthemum comes in the middle of the night while Boba Fett's sleeping. He has his dick in his hand and he's in his fucking jammies and just is able to walk in and open up the tank and somehow not rip Boba Fett's arms out of their sockets. A fucking 7-foot tall Wookiee and a naked human, that should not even be a contest. I saw several times where Black Chrysanthemum bit into Boba Fett. He should have been able to like bite into his neck like Shaun of the Dead style and just, yeah. But no, this is Disney. He's not going to do that. You know what's going to happen though, and we saw it. Boba Fett threw him in the fucking Rancor pit, and then he's like, all right, make sure this guy gets in the back of the tank and gets healed up. We're going to set him free. And as he's walking away free, Black Chrysanthemum looks back at Boba Fett and goes, huh. And Boba Fett's like, hey, don't take it personally. It's just business. And it's stupid. He's like, I used to be a bounty hunter. If they reveal that these guys used to be buddies or at least sometimes partners, I don't know. So I am not super excited about this. Obviously, Boba Fett is going to turn the popular opinion of Tatooine about him being a weak daimyo. Got a daimyo? Yeah. And pretty soon all of Mos Espa or whatever the fuck he's at is going to Mos Eisley. Is that Mos Eisley that he's at? They're going to fall in behind him. And then they're going to go and take on Crimson Dawn together as a planet or whatever. I'm just not too excited about that. Boba Fett should not be a cuddly guy. Rancors should not be cuddly monsters. Disney had an opportunity here. I think we're seeing the direction that it's going. And if Disney truly is using these new shows as vehicles to introduce their substandard characters, then we are in deep poodoo indeed. Are we not? I think the same thing's going to happen with Kenobi, now that I'm thinking about it. Obi-Wan is going to... He's going to violate his oath to protect Luke. He's going to leave the planet. And something bullshit's going to happen, and then Obi-Wan's probably not going to get to do Jedi shit for most of the first season. Right? That's going to be the big flirt. Like, he might do shit like Qui-Gon did and fucking flip around a chance cube or, you know, send a tool flying off a shelf and whap somebody in the back of the head. he'll probably tell somebody else that he doesn't want death sticks and they should think their life over again. But it's not exciting. And I guarantee you this, at some point, we're going to hear one of these people talk about shit that happened in the High Republic. And when that happens, we know that the ship is sailing. You know, I also think we kind of got swept up in this Luke Skywalker thing, and we failed to retain the fact that they were studying his midichlorians. And that somehow leads to Snoke. So basically all roads are leading to the sequel trilogy unless they can pull something off, which I am not. I mean, the more time that goes on, the less optimistic I am about that. You know, Star Wars just isn't what it used to be. And the only way that it's going to be like it used to be is in our fan fictions and in our Fandom Menace videos. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to stop. The sole reason that we do this is to remind Disney of what Star Wars actually is. Okay. You're going to rehash, you're going to water down, and it's going to be bullshit. And your sales are going to suffer because of that. Fucking Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. Fuck off with that. That is going to be your future. And if you don't pony up Disney, Lucasfilm on Star Wars, people like Sony are going to come in and do what they did with Spider-Man. Except it's not going to be Star Wars. It's going to be probably Battlestar Galactica. We were just talking about that. Brightest Day popped through in the chat not too long ago. He is going to cover that extensively. One of the Rogue family of channels. But until then, we're just going to have to stand by and watch this fucking circle of wagons burn, aren't we? Chat seems to agree. Daytona Falls saying, here's the spiel. Jake is lime that because he believed his wife and child were killed during that Last Jedi boohickey. Tommy says, my question is, how many times do people need to be shit on before they get the message? Good question. I think as long as these people have an axe to grind, and they're going to attempt to do so until people like us shut up. So I guess our job is to keep it going, keep the coals stoked in the fire. Do not let it rest. Do not let it rest. I'd like to thank you for joining me tonight. One last time, lift high whatever it is you are imbibing and join us in the Savage Salute. Here is to us. What is like us? Not a goddamn thing. Until next time, folks, I am Immortal Coil.